back. It's the Armoury TV. We're back in the building. Arsenal won, Leeds won. It's not the result we wanted, but we're here. Let's get into this. Yes, yes. Good afternoon, people. It's the Armory TV. We're back in the building. It's me, myself, Gums. I've got my guy Brenny with me today. How you keeping, bruv?
Oh, yeah, not happy with the performance, and I'm not going to say it was a good point, but we didn't lose today, so but still not happy.
I hear that. I hear that. And before we get going today, it's going to big up our sponsor, Global Mapping Surveys. We're proudly sponsored by these guys. Make sure you read it. I'm not going to read it for you, but they offer a wide range of services such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. The links in the description for the website and the contact details as well. So big up you guys. Appreciate you every time. But let's get to the real deal. So St. Mary's, Southampton won, Arsenal won. Notorious bogey ground for us. I don't know what it is about that place.
Mm,
We just always seem to come unstuck there. Um, but to start with, we started off well, and I'm sitting there thinking this comfortable now, and it like got an early lead, great finish by Xhaka, great team goal, and I'm thinking let's go on and deal with this. And what's your take on the first half? Do you feel we should have been 2 or 3 up?
yeah, 100%. I mean,
Mm,
I mean, with the we have to put our chances away, and
yeah,
throughout and later on in the season, we're going to come up against better sides than Southampton. I mean, they showed a lot today, Southampton, especially in that second half, but when we come up against better sides and then we have to finish our dinner.
yeah. It reminds me of I watched the Chelsea United game yesterday, and same thing. I think Rashford had a good couple of chances, and
Mm.
he's allowed the keeper to make saves. If that makes sense, they're good saves, but
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? He's allowed the keeper to save them, and from that moment, it's like it's out your hands, isn't it? Such. And today, I'm not really going to put any blame on the defense. I think they stood up strong to a barrage of set pieces, long throws. I think they defended really well. And again, if strikers are taken 2 of their chances, then we're not even talking about the defense in this game. But um, yeah, do you feel it was won and lost there, then just not taking our chances? We haven't been very clinical in the last few weeks, have we? Winning a lot of games 1-0. So is this the thing we need to step up with again?
We have to because I mean, yeah, we had prior to today, I think we had three clean sheets in a row, and we have to score goals. I mean, you can't just rely on one. I mean, we're not the Arsenal from 30 years back where they
Mm,
can win 1-0 and they could defend because those guys back then made defending make it look so easy. They made defending look so
yeah.
easy, but it's not that easy. We have to keep on. You know, we have to just bury our chances.
Mm,
Simple as. Hey, bro.
yeah. What's going on, Damos? You
Hey,
good?
you right, people?
Yeah,
How's
you
it
get
Yeah.
going?
yourself comfy. You get yourself comfy. Take your time. But yeah, what's your thoughts? Because said we started off the game really well. Took an early lead again. As I said earlier, great finish by Xhaka. Good build up to the goal. Ben White for fantastic ball across, and yeah, he's taking it a plumb on the right foot on the half volley. What are you thinking then? Are you thinking we're going to go on now on twos, threes,
Yeah.
fours?
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. And
Mm,
it's not only pleasing the fact that Xhaka is scoring, but it's in recent weeks the midfield are
contributing.
chipping in, contributing with the goals,
Mm,
and I like to see that because we don't see that very often. Like last season, I think the season before. I mean, I know that the figures are very low for our central midfielders scoring goals. So,
mm.
and it was well taken, and that was a second right-footed finish in a row for Granit Xhaka. So
Yeah,
yeah,
two in a week for him. So fair play to
mm,
him.
yeah,
Um, but yeah. So what about you, Damos? Was you sitting comfortable at 1-0, thinking this is going to be walk in the park, or did you see what
Um,
happened coming?
no, it was a well-worked goal, like you just described. So I was obviously happy, but then I just wanted us to try and get that second, but we kept on missing chances, Um, but yeah, it was one of them games. I'm like, we need to score another goal. But then obviously in the second half, it's a different story. You can see all the pressure they put on. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's disappointing. Disappointing.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think there was a stage in that first half where Hasselhoetel changed it to almost when they defended in a five at the back, and then with possession they
Mm,
kind of played a four. And it's like we didn't adjust to that. I feel after that we struggled to kind of create much. Do you know what I mean? In the first half, we had the odd little sniff, but yeah, I think there was a reluctance to kind of maybe adapt to what they done, and I think that in turn kind of slowed the game right down. And I think once it slowed down, we couldn't then pick back up the pace. Um, but yeah, first half kind of went very smoothly. Apart from again, I think they had like five corners in a row. Um, we defended that really well. So yeah, got up to the first half really well. Second half, is this now starting to worry you? The way the intensity is dropping out of our game in the second half. Go to Damos
Um,
first.
yeah.
yeah. Thing is, I always judge things in context. So it's hard for me to judge a situation yet because I need to see what's going to happen in the next couple of games. But we've had a couple of games where we've been like the last two games. We've kind of been like that. Um,
Mm,
I'm thinking. I don't know if it's the three day business, Thursday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday business. If it's taking its toll on our players, or is it because we've been top for a while? Everyone's looking at us, and then you get on Match of the Day where they did a little half-hour special on how to beat Arsenal. So um, everyone now knows how to stifle this type of team. So it's up to
mm,
us to try and either get our energy back or overcome it. So I don't
mm.
know what the cause is yet. So it's hard for me to judge right now. But it's been 3 games. So it's not looking 3 games like this. So it's not
I
looking
would,
good at
yeah,
the
I
moment.
would say almost four because as much as PSV didn't cause much of an
Mm.
issue, it was the same, it's very similar. They just didn't really put much pressure on us. But Bodo Glimt, we held on second half. Leeds, we held on. PSV wasn't great, and now today is another game. We score one, and it seems like we lack the impetus. Yeah, Brenny, what about yourself? What do you think it is? Thursday, Sunday.
Well, that's. I mean, I'm not gonna basically. I don't know because I don't think. I mean, really, I look at what if we were, say, for example, we finished fourth last season, and for us it had been Champions League games on you say a Wednesday and a Saturday.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So
Same thing. Yeah.
we had it in the past, but then what would happen was that when you're playing Champions League football, you normally put out your best side in the Champions League, and then say we got a Saturday game after playing a Wednesday evening, you're still playing your best side.
mm, yeah,
So the Europa League and the Champions League is looked at differently in terms of who you're going to select. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
and I think again, like if you have that long travel on a Thursday night, get back
Mm.
to England Friday,
Mm.
then I understand. So the Bodo and Leeds one, I can kind of accept it a little bit more. But
Yeah,
we was at home on Thursday,
this is
and
it. Yeah.
Southampton's not the biggest away game. It's not like we're going
Mm.
Newcastle or somewhere far like that in
Mm.
England.
Mm.
Southampton's down the road, isn't it? So yeah,
Mm.
for me, it's I
Well,
think it's something we got to overcome, and I think
yeah.
this is the issue with maybe the squad. We'll get onto Arteta later, but I was calling for Tierney to come on. I'm not saying Tomiyasu was wrong to start him because we
Mm.
started off really well. So, but I think there was an element where Southampton changed, we couldn't get out, and maybe the left-footed left back would have been a better option because Tomiyasu kept trying to come in. And
Mm.
not saying he played badly, but sometimes you have to mix up a bit, don't you, and change what you're doing. And
Mm.
I was saying I think we needed Tierney. Um, and yeah, just like that, and you saw the difference he made. So do you think the squad's becoming an issue? Because it seems like Arteta's very reluctant to rotate. Apart from Eddie and Tierney, do you know what I mean? He doesn't really want to make any more changes in that game. So do you feel this is where it shows the lack of depth we have in this squad? Brenny,
Uh,
we go to you.
I feel I think we've got players in every position that we've got two players that can play
Mm,
in every position right now. and I'm including Marquinhos and I'm including Fabio Vieira as well.
Mm.
I just feel that if that, I mean, it does look as if that's what Mikel Arteta are doing, but then I think right now, if he was to, if he was to, if you bring in a player for such a player, I mean, not to rotate too much, but if you're bringing in, if you're bringing in, say Marquinhos played today instead of Saka, I still feel Marquinhos probably would have had a good game today because it's that it's like I was saying to Damos a couple of days ago. It's the competition is now there, and also I find it's because of where we are on the table and how well we're doing in the Europa League, and I think that helps as well,
Yeah.
being at
Yeah.
the top. Yeah, I think if we was say eighth, ninth, tenth in the table, for example, and you bring in someone in, I don't think the performances would be as good.
Mm.
But when the 11 that in recent weeks, the 11 that we've seen quite a lot, not so much today because Zinchenko's not in. I just find that whoever's coming in now will will play as well as they can, and obviously will fight to stay in the team. And they're looking at it thinking, yeah, we're top of the league. We've got to stay there. I want to keep the place. So
Yeah.
there isn't. You're right about squad depth. There isn't a lot. I mean, I still think we need at least two more players.
Definitely, I agree. What about you, Damos? Is the
Um,
depth worrying you? Can you see a reluctance for Arteta to make changes?
I mean, I see what Brendan's saying there about players wanting to fight for positions. You need that, so that's healthy. The only concern I have is the players that you just mentioned. I don't know if they've had a couple of good games, couple of good appearances, but I don't know if they've reached that level where they could replace Saka and give the same sort of level. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
yes, squad depth's been an issue from the start of the season. We've just been fortunate that our key 11 has been so good, and one or two extras around them have kind of had good games. But that ain't enough to sustain a whole season. So, January is key. I mean, again, I don't know if we could buy any players that would have instant impact, because it seems that everyone who seems to do well are the players who have been part of the system for a while and they just grow into learn it. But something needs to change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever we do, something needs to change. Yeah, that's all I can say, really.
Yeah, and I think it's key, like you're saying, who you bring in, because the two who probably haven't had to adapt are Zinchenko and Jesus. And yes, they're quality
Yeah.
players. Yes, they're a bit older than what we signed previously, but again, they've played in a similar system. So I think if we are going to get someone in January, it has to be the right player. And again, sometimes the right player is not the biggest name. Do you know what I mean? It's who's going to fit and hit the ground running. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of players out there, especially after the World Cup as well. Normally, do you know what I mean? There's quite a bit of movement. So yeah, fingers crossed we do bring something in. One area for me which has been solid, but games like today highlight it for me. Um, and I feel as the Smith Rowe missing makes a difference. And I really want to see Smith Rowe play a bit more central sometimes. Um, and the reason I'm saying that is today's game, Southampton adjusted really well and was able to block us out. If you saw how tight they were getting to Saka and Martinelli, again, it's the second week in a row where these two can't get tight. People like that, you can sort it with Saka. He was their trigger. Let it get to Ben White. As soon as it gets to Saka, the left back, the left winger, and the centre midfielder all crowding around him. There's three of them around him, and he can't get out. And this is for me where you need a central midfield player who's going to be a bit more creative and a bit more risky. Someone who's going to turn and beat a player and offset and off balance a team. And it's too easy now for teams to show us left and right, and we're hoping Martinelli and Saka are the ones that can get and beat the first player. And we need something to change, because again, even when we're making changes, there was nothing that changed anything. Do you know what I mean? It was all very much of the same. So I hear people are going to say the strikers and we need better than Eddie. I feel the criticism of Eddie's a bit harsh as well. I think he does do okay when he comes on, but actually someone to create, do you know what I mean? Just to move people around in the midfield and open up some space and drive. You see Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, players like that beat a man and go, and all of a sudden it opens up space for everybody. And I feel that's maybe what we're missing. It's not a knock on Xhaka or Partey. I feel it's just something different, maybe what we need in the area. Again, you watch Cazorla, we watch Wiltshire, Ramsey, those guys used to beat men and go, and all of a sudden it opens up space. And I feel we're missing that at the moment. Even Alex Song was brilliant at it, at beating players and opening up space. And for me, I think that's an important area we need to look at. Or maybe we try Smith Rowe in there when he's back. But games like today, I really miss Smith Rowe because he is someone who takes it in a tight area and tries to beat players and create space. And I feel Odegaard and Vieira today were getting bullied, really bullied in that second half. And again, nothing kind of stuck. I felt for the back line. I did feel for the back line because every time they passed into them areas, it was just breaking down and they're defending again. So yeah, I don't want to be too harsh and grumble too much because as everyone's saying, Tony's here. He sounds like he's the positive one. He's saying still top, F the haters. We've played 11, we've dropped 5 points.
Yeah, that's a positive.
We can't win every game, and that's the key. You can't win every game, and if you can't win, just don't get beat. But I think the hard thing is because we was 1-0 up and we had chance. I think that's why it feels like a defeat. So yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about the referee today. So Tony's giving us this image. One is a penalty, the second isn't. What was your thoughts on? Is it Caleta? Because there was about 4 occasions he was wrapping up players, and I think he's wrapped up Jesus twice. He's had a punch at Jesus. He's grabbed Nketiah by the throat. But let's talk about the penalty decision first.
On another day, he would have had he'd had a couple of yellows.
I think we would have had 3 reds on another day. What's your thoughts on this one? This penalty, because we saw Mason Mount win a penalty again. No, was it Brozier? Sorry, win a penalty against McTominay. Again, one was from a set piece, one was from open play. But what's your thoughts on that? Again, a still image, but at the moment, was you thinking penalty?
Yeah. I mean, both those images there are penalties.
What about you, Damos?
Yeah, same. But when I saw that, and I saw a couple of challenges before, I was like, this ref, he's in a certain zone where he just wants to, I don't know, make a name for himself. And I thought, okay, he's not going to be given certain pushes or certain challenges. Okay, that's the vibe he's on. But I think that kind of messed up our play because the way we play, we rely on those kind of decisions to get given because we play pretty and nice. And if you're going to push a man off the ball with no intention to get the ball or grab up a man, then there's a free kick. But from time we see they're not getting given, it messes up our game plan because we're like, well, we can't play pretty because they will just get pushed off the ball with no what's the word? No punishment.
Yeah.
So I think it did affect us.
Yeah, I hear Xhaka was getting frustrated. He was getting kicked and pushed all over the place. And like you're saying, sometimes that was horrendous.
Never yellow.
Yeah, and did you guys watch the Liverpool-Chelsea game last week? No, Liverpool-City game. Sorry. And
I saw
he
bits.
let a lot go.
Well,
yeah, he was letting the game really flow. But there's a difference between letting the game flow and blatant fouls. And again, if it's one arm, but 2 arms wrapped around players, dragging them down. As I said, Saka's getting pushed, pulled, dragged about the place, and it was just constant. And like you're saying, you can't build off it because you now the other team now actually I can just do what I want and I'm going to keep getting away with it. And it allowed Southampton to be a lot more aggressive. And I'm not saying that we have to get protected, but some of the decisions today were really poor. And again, this is my thing with VAR. If the referee hasn't seen some things, so I don't understand how nothing's been done with the punch and the hand round Nketiah's throat. I don't understand that. If the referee hasn't seen it, I can't see why someone can't say, go and have a look at that. Like, he hasn't made a clearing of his error because he hasn't seen it. It's not an error. He might need some support. We saw how quick they were to try and send off Gabriel last week. And I don't understand how a man can punch someone in the back twice and grab someone by the throat and nothing be seen about it or done. It's mystifying. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's the reason for the result, but we got to be better for ourselves and we got to protect ourselves and look after ourselves better and be able to deal with that side of things. But it does get frustrating when it's constant. Do you know what I mean? Like in this, like decisions, and we've been lucky with a few. I'll be honest. Like we've been lucky with 1 or 2, but at the same time, it doesn't make this any easier to take.
No, I wasn't saying it was just to clarify, I wasn't saying that was the excuse, but I was just saying that had an effect on us. However, we should have it in us to have the energy and the drive and the way we normally play to just get past it. But everyone looked tired and lethargic, man.
Yeah,
I know
he
you
really
haven't
did.
got there yet, but look at Partey. He did a lot of. I've never seen him misplay so many little passes. Like
Yeah,
he had an off game, I
right.
think.
You know,
You
Yeah,
know what I'm
towards the end
saying?
of
And
the
it
game,
shows
yeah.
he's a
yeah, I
key
agree
player,
with.
but it shows if he's not there, which today he was not there, look how it affects us. And that's not good enough.
Mm,
We need another player at least who has the same impact as him.
yeah,
He's my guy. But today weren't his day.
and I think that's
Mm.
what Arteta has to take a risk because I think he was good for 60, but then the last 30, his
Yeah.
legs, you see
Yeah.
little passes just weren't getting through the channel, the lines, and this is what Arteta's
Mm.
maybe got to be a bit braver, isn't it? And actually say if he's not performing right, do you know what, we have to rotate him, but bring someone else in. But I understand why you don't at the same time. It's a very because you always get consistency with Partey and Xhaka at the moment.
Mm.
It's very hard to rotate those two, but at the same time, if one of them's not having a good game, then changes do need to be made. You know what I mean? But yeah, we keep going. Because again, as Tony's saying, we're still top. We're still,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean, having a good season, and we're seeing other teams are dropping points as well around us. Chelsea drew with Brentford the other day. You know what I mean? Teams are going to drop points against teams they should be beating. So this is the first one, actually. I would say United, you kind of accept it with Old Trafford. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be positive. But yeah, thoughts on Arteta. And before we get into the player ratings and then wrap up. So, what's your thoughts on Arteta today? How do you think he'll be coping with this? Because we kind of got away with one last week. We saw a bit of a reaction on Thursday, but again today we are seeing a reaction. Let's not get it wrong. Like first half was brilliant, but it's how do you think he'll be feeling after today's
Mm.
game?
Well, he would probably be in the changing room saying, you know what, you those opportunities that we had, you should have taken them
Mm,
first and foremost. And I know he wouldn't have been happy with that because he's probably determined to have this game wrapped up at half
yeah,
time. And that's happened a few times, hasn't it? Where, you know, we're only 1-0 up and you think, well, we should be 3 or 4-0 up. I think from what I see, he was I didn't see him as animated on the touchline as he normally is, but he had a plan today, and I think he was let down by the side's finishing.
yeah. Would you put again, Damos? In return with that, would you put blame more on the players than Arteta today?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arteta said something in the last game where they asked him, "Oh, can Saka play every week?" And he said, "You know, top players can play 70 games a season, whatever." It's about the mindset, and I get that. However, I do think that maybe the mindset's not matching the physical attributes for some of these players. I've got a feeling. Well, it looks like some of them could be feeling the effects on these Sundays. I hope I'm wrong, but my question. So based on Arteta's mindset, I get it, but I feel that some of these players might need a little rest. And the next question I have is, what do we do for the next week? Do we have the same team again on Thursday? If you bring them and they're tired and Jaden, they just scrape through, we're going to be stuffed on the weekend because
Mm.
who have we got for the weekend? So
Well, I've
yeah,
been
what
doing
would
a
you
bit of the
do?
research. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of the research. So this weekend, well, this week we got PSV away, and then
Mm-hmm.
we have Nottingham Forest. The
Mm-hmm.
following week we have who's the other team in our group stage? Blah, 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 blah,
Um,
blah, blah.
some next team I remember. It's not we played
Uh,
Bodø already, innit?
yeah, we played
Are we
Bodo
3
twice.
points ahead of PSV in the table?
So basically, we need a draw to secure top spot.
Right.
One draw secures us top. So we do
Well,
need to go out and win that group because what we don't want to do is play that playoff game in the next round.
yeah.
Because there's an extra round in UEFA
Mm.
Cup, isn't it, where the Champions League teams drop in and the second place teams play a round robin as such. So we don't want
Mm.
we need to qualify first. So do we go semi-strong in the away game with Forest as the next game, or do we wait? I think it Partizan or someone we got, and then we have
Yeah.
Chelsea after that.
Mm.
So if we lose against PSV,
You
we then
mean
have
in
to get a
Zurich?
point. Zurich, sorry, that's it. So if we
Yeah.
lose to just say we lose to PSV, we need a point against Zurich, and then we got Chelsea after. So
Mm.
like Dane was saying, which game would you prioritize? Would you rather go to PSV, get the point there or the win, and then you got Forest afterwards, and then maybe you rotate in the Zurich game before Chelsea, or do you rotate before and hope that these boys can come in and get a point that we need, and then actually both games you've had the rest before
Mm.
Premier League games? What would you be doing, Brenny?
I would for me, I've been making some changes definitely for Thursday's game. I mean, I wouldn't play Gabriel Jesus. I wouldn't play Odegaard. I wouldn't play Xhaka. I would bring in about three, 4 under 20 three players, you know, and I would see what they can do. But I would just rather us have a side that's still strong at the back, as long as we don't lose that game. But I would bring in some under 23s.
Yeah. What about you, Damos? And who would you be looking to rotate? If you was to make some changes, where would you be looking to make them?
Ben?
Yeah, for you,
That's to
Damos.
you,
That's
innit?
for you.
Oh, to
For
me.
you, that's for you. Yeah.
That's the thing. Brendan just named a couple of you just said something good there in terms of rotation, but I'm trying to think that team with a couple of under 23s or whatever, is that enough to even get a draw? Is that enough to win? Because there was a tough team last week. Even though we dominated, they weren't a walkover. So it's a tough one, really is. Because yeah, it's tough because if we go half, do you know what? I would actually be inclined to take a risk and have a fresh side. And the job is they need to wrap it up in the first half. If they do, you can take people off. That's a gamble. But if I was to gamble, if first place is so important, I might do that gamble. Say, look, you big boys got to wrap it up in halftime so we can make subs.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always work.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't. Then also you got to play them man for 80, 90. I personally would go
and then we're back to square one.
Yeah, I would go I would mix semi. So I think the front, I would definitely rest Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, and that for me is Nketiah, Marquinhos, Nelson. That would kind of be that. Vieira would come in for Odegaard potentially. Partey wouldn't even travel. Does Xhaka need a rest? He doesn't look like he needs a rest.
Do you know what? Granit Xhaka is he can that guy can seem to play week in, week out.
Yeah, he seems like he's the one who does it.
You know, his stamina level. I would play Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, I would play Xhaka in the compass.
Yeah.
And then I think defense-wise, Gabriel's looked quite good the last two. So maybe him holding, and then maybe Cedric and Tierney. Or maybe Cedric and Tomiyasu, because I would be looking to play Tierney next weekend. So
100%.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, so the rotation is not that major. Like it's not as weak as I think people are going to think it looks like if we rotate majority of that 11. I think if we called that out, I think only maybe Xhaka would be the one who would still play next week. Apart from that, everyone else can maybe rotate around. And I think in an ideal world, that would have been El Nene and Lokonga playing. Do you know what I mean? If he wasn't injured. So, yeah, I would probably rotate. I think we got enough to get a draw out there. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I definitely feel maybe the boys could do maybe 2 days off. Maybe it's a Sunday and Monday, no training. Coming on, we'll go in and get your massages. Not Sunday, Monday. We're on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. Go and get your massages. Light session on Wednesday. Travel, and then go again. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what happens. But they are looking a little bit jaded. A few of them, which is to be expected. Because again, last year we wasn't playing this much games. So as much as they're young, as much as we should expect top players to be able to play 2 games a week, if it is new to you, it does take its toll. Do you know what I mean? And you see it when games go extra time. These are solid pros, and they go extra time and they start cramping. So their body's built to last 95 minutes. Do you know what I mean? But as soon as it goes to 110, all of a sudden you're seeing cramps galore. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But so just quick last question: is it 1 point gained or 2 points dropped, Brenny?
2 points dropped.
Yeah, Damos.
We were the title ahead.
Nah, I say point gain because at the end of the day, we didn't earn the title to say. When I say title, we didn't earn the title to say this game was ours. It wasn't ours at any point. Like maybe at the beginning. So fair play to them, but no disrespect to them. I feel that it was us who wasn't on our game, not necessarily that they played brilliant. So, but in the context of our season, I'd be like, you know what, it's disappointing, but it's a point gain because you're going to lose games and draw games, and we haven't done many like that. Well, we only lost one and drawn one. So I'll take this, but I just hope that next week we wake up. That's all I hope.
Definitely. Should we run through some player ratings quickly?
Go for it.
Let's do it. All right, it's going to be real quick. Just scores because I need to be off the stream in 2 minutes. So, Ramsdale, Damos, you can start Ramsdale.
To be honest, my stream was dodgy, so I'll leave that one to Brendan, as I only saw a few players that I can judge properly.
All right, Brenny, what are you saying for Rams?
Well, I'll just give him 6 because he didn't really have a lot to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'll go 7 just because I think he dealt with a lot of set pieces as well.
Yeah, he did.
I was
he did.
worried. I was worried looking at them, but yeah. So
Yeah,
6
I agree with you there.
give it.
Yeah.
Didn't have to make much saves. Right back was Ben White. I'll take Ben White then. I'll give him a 6. Actually 7 because of the assist. Damos, Saliba.
Saliba was there. I'll say 7. Like, he wasn't troubled. Do you know what I mean? So I'll say 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brenny, Gabriel.
I'll say 6.
Fair enough.
You know, he didn't do anything wrong today. No, I'd say 7. He didn't do anything wrong today.
I would have said he was the better of the two. Again, actually, I think he was very good in the air. Salisu's a big guy, and he was really competing with him in the air. Tomiyasu, I'll go 6. And didn't really do nothing wrong, but yeah, it was just quite limited when we were trying to build. So I'll go 6. Partey to Damos.
Yeah, first half he was okay, but overall I'd give him a 6. Because he was okay, but in the second half, I don't know if he was tired or what. But then so many misplaced passes, and Xhaka was going deep a lot to collect the ball from the defense. So I don't know what happened with them. But yeah.
Brenny, we'll go to Xhaka next.
Granit Xhaka, give him a 7. He was all right today. You know, well as a goal. Yeah, just give him 7.
Odegaard, for me, give a 6. In flashes, he's really good, but when the game gets a bit sticky and physical, kept getting caught on the ball. And when we was getting possession, he was getting caught quite a bit sometimes when we were trying to break out. So 6 for me. Damos then gets Saka.
For effort and input, obviously I'd rate him high. But I'll say I'll give him a 7 because he was struggling to get through. Maybe 7's a bit generous. 6, 7, I would say. So that's
I'm with that. Brenny, you got Martinelli.
Martinelli today, he gets a 6.
Was you surprised to see him come off?
I was, because he still looked a threat.
Yeah,
still looked a threat. I was very surprised he didn't come off.
Yeah, I thought he looked the better out of the 3, so I was shocked when his name would come up.
Yeah.
I got Jesus. I think that was probably Jesus's worst game for us. He linked up play pretty well and stuff, but again, I think he's got to take a bit of criticism because he's had the better of the chances today, and if he takes one, it's a different ball game. I think Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard had more half chances, whereas I think he's had the 2 clear cuts. So I'll give him a 5 today. Score Tierney quickly, Damos.
He tried. He was there. He was getting about. I mean, I'll give him a 6. He wasn't on for long, but he was positive.
You saw a difference when he came on, didn't you?
Yeah.
Brenny, how about Nketiah for you?
Eddie, I'm going to give him a 5. See, the thing with Eddie is that he's not given enough time. He's not one of those subs that can just, give him 15 minutes and he's going to do something. He's not a Kanu or Silvan Walter. Those sort of players could do that.
Yeah.
You need to give him more time.
But do you think that comes down to also the plan B? Because he is quite a little fox in the box, get him in the areas, but we're still playing the same way, even though it's 5 minutes to go. We're still trying to build. So he finds himself out the box a lot. Do you know what I mean? Rather than actually, when we're trying for a goal, why not go 4-4-2?
When he's in the
box and try and put something in there.
Yeah, when he's in and around the box, he's an absolute menace. But when he's away from the box, you're not going to see the best of him.
Yeah, 100%.
Can I say something about Eddie quickly?
Yeah, go on.
I noticed that he plays well if all the team around him are on their game, like Saka, Martinelli, killing the wings, constant crosses, whatever. He plays well, but today everyone around him weren't on their game. So to bring him in, you're not going to get much from him. And there's people that's on his case right now. But I think it's a bit harsh. judge him
Very.
more when he's in
Yeah.
a better a team in better form.
It is.
If that makes sense.
There was a couple of times he made some great runs. He got hold of the
Mm.
ball. He looks up and all he's got is a 10-yard pass backwards. Do you know what I mean? Or he's got to try and beat free. So you can't blame certain things
That's
on
not
him,
the
like
first time
because.
this happened to him.
And I think
this
that's
season.
why that's why I would say the energy levels were low today because no
Mm.
one was trying to join him. Like it was
Mm.
just you saw it was Xhaka, like you said, Xhaka ended up started playing deeper, and it might be his legs were feeling tired, so he's thinking I can't make that 30-yard burst, and if I do it
Yeah.
and we lose the ball, I'm out of position. So again, what your best thing to do is let me hold some shape because what we're not going to do is get beat here. So
Mm.
yeah, I do think then it becomes hard on someone like Nketiah who makes the big burst, gets the ball, and then has nothing to hit. All he could do is then pass backwards. So, yeah, I do think the criticism of him is a bit harsh. He had a half chance. Do you know what I mean? It was well worked, and it took a deflection. So, yeah, I think he done all right when he come on. Vieira, our score of 4. I think I was expecting to see something from him, and he had the set piece and a few other and under hitting crosses, and he went on for long. But what he was on, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying we're going to score from that set piece, but at least give us an opportunity to do something from it. Like so, yeah, I weren't impressed with him today when he come on. And Arteta, Demos,
I'll give it to one of you lot, man. I'm still too
Freddie.
disappointed to work it out fairly.
Ready, you got Arteta.
You got Arteta, he gets 6 today.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I can't complain with that. Well, so yeah, that's it, guys. Frustration on all our faces, but let's end of the season. We look back at it. It might be a really important point in the quest for top 4. Hear what I said there? The quest for top 4. That's what it's really about this season.
Yeah.
So we stick with that. But yeah, on that note, we're out of here for today. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back next week with some more shows. You probably see us on the reactions as usual. But let's hope we can bounce back.
It's Forest. Let's try, man.